Okay, let's talk a little bit more about oligopoly. Last week, in the April, I think 27th, 2016 review session, after reviewing the other three market structures, we introduced oligopoly, which is a little bit different animal because you have only a few firms, but they tend to be extremely interdependent, either because they watch each other extremely closely or because they may actually act together in unison. Now, whether they act together in unison or just watch one firm really closely has to do with the makeup of the market. We talked about the difference between a balanced oligopoly and an unbalanced oligopoly. In industry A, let's say airlines, we have a very balanced oligopoly. You have four firms, 1 through 4, that each control approximately 20% of the market. So this could be like airlines where you have Delta, United, American, Southwest, and those are their market shares. Yeah, there are other smaller airlines, but it's dominated. 8% of the market is those four big airlines. That they're very balanced. Unbalanced oligopoly, like industry B, might be, let's say, even though it's probably not quite true, something you might understand would be the video game console market. Let's pretend that PlayStation 4 is so popular that they control 50% of all sales of video game systems. You've got 2, 3, and 4. It might be like Xbox and Wii U and something else, but half of the market is dominated. This is called the Godfather, or market leader, the leading firm. Okay. Now, if you have a Godfather oligopoly, an unbalanced oligopoly, we went through in this situation where one firm will make its decision independently of everyone else. Whoops, sorry. One firm will make its decision independently of anybody else in the market. Again, we look at MR equals MC. That tells us our profit maximization quantity. And then we look up at the firm's demand curve to determine what price they'll sell their product for. At 5 tons in this graph, it goes to be a $5 price. Then all the other video game console makers, everybody else in the market will accept that market price, because who are they to, charge more than the market leader on video games? And so then we follow that $5 to what's the market demand. That then tells us the quantity. At $5, the total number of video game consoles will be here. And then because 5 tons are just PlayStation 4, it's just that market leader, out of the total 20 minus 5, that leaves 15 tons of sales for everybody else. And so, they're going to be at this point right here. And then we talked about how oligopolies will tend to have a kink demand curve because of the fact that it is in their best interest to stay at that sticky price in the market. That produces a kinked demand curve and helps to explain how marginal revenue can change significantly in a market, and marginal cost can change significantly in market rise or lower and still remain in this MR equals MC range, which means that the firms in that market will not change their prices very much. Okay. The other possibility in the market, and this is in a balanced oligopoly, is that all the firms act together in unison. They collude or price fix. Now, this is illegal in the United States because we have a free market economy and we don't like monopolies, because when a bunch of oligopolistic firms price fix and collude, basically what they're doing is they are acting together as like one monopoly. And so if you look at panel A here, this is called a cartel. This is basically the same graph as a monopoly. Now, it does not have the average total cost curve, but the only reason it doesn't in this panel is because it doesn't matter. They're not showing us this in order to calculate profit. We're just saying, hey, in this market, we look at MR equals MC here, and then we go up to the demand curve, and that tells us the price that will be offered. Now, in this scenario, what a cartel is oftentimes, an example of a cartel is the oil industry. So, like with OPEC is a cartel, Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries. So let's say that all of the oil-producing countries, Iran, Iraq, Kuwait, Saudi Arabia, everybody, get together and say, hey, we're going to collude, we're going to set a price that's nice and high, and it's going to benefit us all a lot. So they are going to take a look at their MR equals MC point right here that tells us their profit maximization quantity would be 14,000, and they're going to sell each barrel of oil on the right here at $8 a barrel. Now, I know that an actual barrel of oil at times can be well over $100, so that's kind of a dumb price, but just let's go with it. It's nice and simple. Then the cartel, they will divvy up how many barrels of oil each country is going to be responsible for producing within the cartel. So let's say you're Kuwait, and OPEC tells you, okay, Kuwait, we're going to let you produce 2,000 barrels out of our total 14,000. That's your quota. Go to it. Well, this panel B then shows just the scenario for Kuwait. So they're told that they're supposed to produce at 2,000 at $8, okay? So the total revenue is going to be 8 times 2, $16,000. Here's their average total cost curve, which says at 2,000, $2 of cost per barrel, so 4,000. $16,000 of revenue minus $4,000 of cost, that gives them $12,000 total profit. Nice. However, we have a situation here. Kuwait, if they were not part of the cartel, they wouldn't be producing at 2,000. That's not their individual profit maximization quantity. Because what's your profit maximization quantity? Of course, you look at MR equals MC. So here's the MR equals MC for just Kuwait, and they intersect at this point right here at a profit maximization quantity of 4,000. So their maximum profit place is here, not where the cartel has told them to produce, down here at 2,000. At 4,000, you'd have $32,000 of total revenue. Here's their average total cost at 4,000, which is about $2.50. And you would get a total profit actually of $22,000 if they produced here. Almost double their profit if they produced at what the cartel told them to do down here at 2,000. So what's Kuwait going to be tempted to do? They're going to be tempted to cheat. Now, they can't very well tell the rest of the countries that they're going to go over their quota of 2,000. So what could they do? They could find like black market, under the table type situations to secretly sell this oil to other countries like the United States. And they'll produce at 4,000. Now, why is this a problem for the cartel? Well, if you've got countries that are going to secretly be selling the oil, it's going to greatly increase the market supply of oil. And what happens whenever you increase market supply? You shift that supply curve to the right. What happens to the equilibrium price? It's going to fall. If you have cheaters like Kuwait, and chances are every country is probably going to try to cheat to maximize their personal profit, you're going to lower the world market equilibrium price of oil, which means that the cartel is not going to sell its oil at $8 per gallon, and it's going to screw everything up. So that's the pitfall of a cartel, is that yes, it's great. You can artificially set a high market price. You can fix the market price. But when you have a situation when individual players in the cartel can act independently to maximize their personal profit, it means that everybody loses in the cartel.